Today is Saturday, May 27th. I'm going to go ahead and do an inspection of this hive. They're bringing in pollen. They look fine. The numbers seem a little low, so I want to see just what's going on in there. All right, so this hive currently has access to 1, 2, 3, 4, 14 bars. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's take a look and see how they're doing. Let's get a little smoke on them. Make sure they're happy. Now, typically down here is where I would either find empty bars of wax, empty bars, food stores, and then over here would be the brood chamber. So I'm not looking to see any signs of young here, but as we get closer we should. Let's see how they're doing. All right, so as suspected, there's pretty much nothing on this bar. Just trying to scrape off all the old propolis. They'll put it back if they want to. I don't do this too often. I don't like to upset them, but it's probably good to get rid of it every now and then. Again, another bar with nothing. This side's got a little old, I like to close it up as I go to keep the bees where they are. Keep it closed as I go. This way I got less bees flying around at me. Again, just an empty bar with a little old pollen in it, just a little bit. As soon as we get on a flow, I'm sure they'll use all this comb. Trying to leave the comb in there so they can keep it viable and clean. But they're building it out perfectly down the center, which is awesome. So what I'm scraping off here is it's called propolis, and it's what the bees use to glue up any gaps or anything between bars, because they don't like those gaps. And basically it's a product that they get from sap and stuff that they get from trees, and it's all sticky, and then they use it to patch up any holes. And basically this is what it looks like. And if they want it, they'll make more of it. Here's and you can see the pollen and shiny, wet looking stuff. And again, I'm not surprised, we're getting closer to the brood comb, so this will be closer to where they all like to nest and hang out. So this is where all their food will be here. On this side, we have a good amount of pollen and nectar. And as we get over here, we have capped honey. And hopefully if we can get onto a flow, they'll get a lot more of that. Now we're going to start getting into a lot more bees. Because again, this is the living portion of the hive. This is where they live. Here's a bee bringing back pollen into the hive. You can see the pollen on the back of her legs. This bar, we've got some capped honey over here. And a good amount of capped brood over there. Let's look at the other side. The other side, down here we've got some pollen, more capped brood, and some more, a little bit of capped honey. Not very much, but mostly nectar. Alright, so they have food. They don't need to. Alright, so this bar I can see a lot of larvae in there. Probably some eggs too, and there's some cat brood. But with all this larvae, I'm expecting I might see the queen on this bar. I gotta keep my eyes open. Oh, here's the queen. Here's the queen right up on top here, just under my finger. Let's see if we can't get her to say hello. There she is. Alright, so there's a lot of larvae in here. I'll check to see if there's any eggs. A lot of larvae though. This is great. And that's on both sides, so I don't want to harm her or make her mad, so I'm going to put her back. You'll have to take my word for it about the other side. I'm not going to go too much further. Just want to make sure they're not cross-combing really. But I saw the queen and I saw larvae, so I don't need to go too crazy. But in the top bar, you want to make sure they're not cross-combing as well. If they cross-comb, then all these bars will be stuck together and it'll be very difficult to do an inspection without basically destroying the hive to do it. Alright, so on this bar we've got more cat brood and larvae, so we're doing good. Alright, I'm not going to even look at the other side. Again, at this point, I'm just trying to make sure they are not cross-combing. These girls are not being too upset with me. I'm putting my hand over them. They're not coming after me. That's great. So at this point, while it's great to see larvae and eggs, I'm really trying to assess stores. So there's a bunch of pollen on this one. So they don't need anything like that. Bar is empty. Haven't come across any cross-combing yet. All right, there's nectar in here on one side. That's good. There's a good amount of it too. And the other side. I've kind of stopped scraping the propolis because now that I've seen the queen and young, I really just want to finish up and leave them alone. All right, as far as pretty empty, just mostly some pollen, some spotty pollen. If that's a beekeeping phrase, I don't know. Now, for some reason, this last one usually always has nectar on all three of my top bars. Let's see. No, not this time. Pretty much empty. All right, well, I haven't seen any hive beetles, so that's good. All right, well, they're doing great.